Hi everyone, this is Maninder. It's a first podcast. आज मेरे साथ I would say a very close friend also and a professional colleague also in the past. We both work together and he is currently handling a very big portfolio for one of the biggest companies in the automotive sector. He'll brief about himself. Mr. Shyam Sundar, and coming to why we are doing this podcast is basically, which is related to the purpose of this channel, is that procurement काफी लोगों को लगता है कि it's just buying goods and just providing services to the customers and the stakeholders, but it's in itself is a very big world, and it's very important we talk to people who are doing this day in day out, and they can share the real aspects of how it goes in terms of procurement and क्या challenges होते हैं, क्या opportunities है, how things are evolving in the new world after COVID and what was happening before COVID also. And people who want to get into this field, for them also it can become a good learning opportunity to directly get information from the industry leaders who are into this field. So it's kind of a learning, knowledge sharing, and hi hello type podcast. So I will not talk much about it now. So moving to Sham, welcome to the podcast, Sham. And if you can introduce yourself, and then we can keep it free flow and how it goes. And
Thank you, Maninder, for inviting me on this podcast. Privileged to be the first guy to be invited. So, brief about myself. I am Sham Sundar. I have mechanical engineering degree by qualification, and I'm currently working with BKT as a procurement AGM, managing a team of 8 colleagues and spend of more than about 5,000 crores. I have been working in several automobile companies, chemicals, and oil and gas companies in the past.
so you mentioned about 5,000 crores. So basically, it's a year portfolio you are mentioning what you are handling, and in terms of US dollar,
Per annum.
I think it's somewhere around 600 to 650 US dollar million in millions, correct?
Correct.
Correct. It's just a very big portfolio, I guess. And from my side also, thank you for agreeing to come to this podcast, which is my first podcast. And I'm sure that we both will be able to explore important things about procurement. And thanks for introducing yourself. So I think just to start, like what I mentioned, lots of people say that procurement is only about ये माल खरीद लिया, इस माल को ये रिक्वायरमेंट आया था और दे दिया प्लांट को, और उसके अलावा प्रोक्योरमेंट का कुछ काम नहीं है. लाइक दिस इज व्हाट वी हियर अ लॉट from people, from stakeholders or people outside the world who are not related to this area. So क्या आप मतलब, can you share more about this, what exactly procurement is, and whether it is like this only what people perceive, or like there is something else to it, if you can explore more on that side.
I would say that's the funny way of looking at it. In fact, you get the company's money to spend in your shopping when you are doing Amazon purchase in your portfolio. But overall, the scope of things, procurement as in itself, you need a lot of strategic planning, forecasting, then a lot of thought process in strategy, and a lot of thought process even in how we go about operational efficiency, and with all the endeavors to meet the customer expectations. And when a good job is done by a procurement manager, no one appreciates. but but it's only the bad things that get highlighted. And keeping a steady head at that point of time is very important. So managing your emotions is also part of that. And most of the time it will never be a day where you will have boring time throughout the day. You'll always have some or the other crisis which you will cherish to enjoy at a later stage. Or some of the things that have happened, you will think, oh, like this. These are the funny incidents I overcome. But at that point of time, it will be a lot of emotional stress over there. So it is a combination of a lot of things. Not exactly what you say, Amazon purchase. You place your order on Amazon and you get the delivery. That's not the way it actually perceives.
Correct. Yeah. I can totally relate to it. And uh, I think it's important to understand other aspects because I don't blame people who are outside this world and even though the stakeholders, because if everyone has a benchmark of Amazon or Flipkart, you put the stuff in the cart and wo aa jayega. And after it is delivered, I don't care what happens to the people who have delivered it. बट आपने एक काफी इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट को टच किया विच इज लाइक फोरकास्टिंग ऑपरेशनल एस्पेक्ट एंड कैसे उस डिमांड को कंसीडर करके प्लानिंग करनी है, अगर मतलब वो पार्ट पे अगर थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लोर कर दो कि जब आप वो बोल रहे हो तो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इट इज, सिंपल टर्म्स अगर किसी लेमैन को भी समझना हो कि वो उसका मतलब क्या है.
Okay, so about forecasting. So today, it depends on the industry to industry and the object that you are purchasing. So I am mostly in direct purchase. So most of the items that I purchase are on a continuous basis, on a continual basis requirement for the company. It's not a one-off requirement. So I need to plan what was my goods that is in transit, what will be my expected demand in the next quarter or in the next year. So how exactly the demand is going to flow in, and what is going to be the seasonality? Is the industry going to perform well during that period? Is my company in line with what is the industrial forecast? So all these things are just inputs, and you derive qualitative assessment about all the inputs and take a subjective judgmental call. That is kind of a very vague way of putting forecast.
Yeah.
But we do also use a little bit of time series forecasting methods and multiple other forecasting techniques. But overall, in my personal experience, it is always uh, seasonal forecasting plus a little bit of considering all this input and qualitative assessment of things has helped me over this what do you say book listed forecasting techniques.
Okay, okay, okay. So it seems not that easy how it looks like, and like
Yeah,
considering so many factors into picture, I'm sure that uh, like for every procurement profession, it's like doing a job under pressure when you have to deal with so many factors, out of which many factors are still not clear. What will happen? What will
yeah.
not happen? Correct?
You have to go with the flow
Yeah.
and connect all the information that keeps coming, and then continually keep planning to the changes that is presented to you. So you may plan there will be a good demand season, but unfortunately something happens and you will be saddled with a lot of stock or a lot of stock in transit, inventory, in holding. So at that stage, how are you going to control? A lot of things will change dynamically, and how you react to those dynamic situations. It's not like you plan something in forecast and you cannot sit on that. So
Okay.
it's a
Okay.
combination of what is a forecast that is done in the past and that is for the future,
Okay.
while the operation of the present and taking care of the operations that is going to happen in the future, forecasting the future operations.
Okay, so like complex web. We will
Yeah,
not
it's
get into
yeah,
that part. I think. In short, it's not easy to do the forecasting, and then multiple factors need to be considered, and just to make things easier for audience to understand. So I will not get into this part. Maybe a different video for that.
yeah,
Now, while explaining this part, you touched upon a very important aspect of procurement in terms of the structure of procurement. Like you mentioned, you were a part of direct purchase, correct?
yeah, yeah.
Briefly, like very simply, if you can just touch upon that, what exactly the structure of procurement is generally and what it caters to understand.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, from my experience in organizations or in industries that I have worked in, broadly it is categorized as direct and indirect. So the definition of direct is like whatever the purchase of goods goes into directly production of the end product that is used in, that is the company's intended product to be made. That is called direct purchase. And what are the other elements that are required which don't actually go into the product in itself, but it is essential for the package of the product, for the accessories, for the consumables, like and even the material space, all those things comes as a part of indirect. And
Okay.
then there is another field called capex, capital expenditure, that is the project fix.
Okay. So like generally it's if it's divided into direct and indirect, then we have certain subcategories under direct and then subcategories under
Yeah.
indirect for the understanding. Great, thanks.
Mm.
So I'll come to the next part, which is mostly related to the procurement as a profession or procurement as a career.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sure that like what you shared about your experience and your background, was it very clear from the day one that you would want to work in this profession, or it came as a part of your journey and then you started liking it? I don't know whether you are liking it or not, but I'm sure that the portfolio you are managing,
Mm.
you must be liking it. So,
Yeah.
was it a day one clarity for you that you will get into this part and you will do it? And after that, if you can share about how good this career is according to you, and should
Okay.
people think about it or should they go for some other profession?
For me, I didn't join purchase department or procurement department as a dream department. It happened. So I completed my engineering, and I joined as an GET in a organization where I was given training in quality technology, production, and in maintenance. So I worked in various departments, and then I was after my GET tenure, I was absorbed in technology function.
Okay.
So as a gradual progression, I just shifted to production. Production, I was managing a team of about 100 colleagues, team members. So, but again, that was not what do you say, something that I could not enjoy that to the fullest extent.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then when this opportunity came in through the IJP, they were looking for someone who had some manufacturing experience with some quality and technology background. And so I thought, okay, so let me explore supply chain. It will open. To be very honest with you, the objective for me to shift to purchase department was that I will not be having to do night shifts. But but I have to in the in my purchase field, I have had more sleepless nights or more stressful sleepless nights than the production night shifts.
Okay.
so so that is the challenge. While that is how my actual progression happened, and I once I started moving into the purchase function, the the team around me was very good.
Okay.
And I was just an engineer with a manufacturing background, but I had a team of very good colleagues around me, top B school graduates. So I thought it is a good opportunity to give my best and prove to myself that I am good in this field.
Okay.
And gradually, as I progressed in the role, I started liking the role because I was getting new information, and every day was a new challenge. Uh, and it's easier to move within. procurement. You get to handle different commodities, and every commodity is having a different dynamics as a whole. So you never get bored in the same thing. So if you are handling, say, production, it would be the same machinery or maybe a different set of people.
Okay.
You would your chance to learn newer technology in the same thing is not say your opportunity is not as big as what you get in procurement. You get a lot of challenges, and those challenges I kept motivating me and improving me over a period of time, and it is still improving me.
So that means you surely
So
liking your profile, correct?
yeah. Right now I am very much contented with the progress that I have made and continuing to make the knowledge that is continuously providing me.
Okay.
So
So
the newer technologies that are coming in makes you feel okay. This is something new that is happening. Let us catch up. Let us catch up. So that is kind of it's not going to put added pressure on you unless you are embracing that as a challenge and
okay.
keep
Okay.
upgrading.
Great. So during your journey, so what I understand is that it was more of an opportunity for you. When you mentioned IGP, I think IGP is basically internal opportunities within the organization,
Internal job posting. Yeah, yeah.
job postings, and you got that opportunity, and then you wanted to try it, and then you started liking it, considering the team. Like you correctly mentioned, team plays a very critical role when you do get on a journey to try it, to learn new things, and I totally agree with that. And now, like the last part of my question, which I asked you, that you surely like your profile, how your growth happened. Then this profession, if someone wants to get into this profession or make it as a career, so according to you, like how the future growth looks like. Like, is it a good profession to consider now, or things are evolving at such a pace that yes, surely people should go for it? Like, what do you think about it?
See, as long as a human transaction between company to company, there is somebody that is required to fulfill that human part of the transaction. So there is going to be an element of human touch that is required for every company to maintain. For a newcomer in procurement, or if somebody wants to join the purchase function, I would give him few inputs saying that you will always uh, need to be updating on a steady basis. There are newer technologies that are brought into the market, and the companies also try and because it's a huge cost center for them, the company's objective always would be to try and improve on their efficiencies.
Okay.
So as long as you are not the best of your self, there is always a scope for your personal improvement, and also the company will also be driving you because it's money that is spent out of the company.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Okay.
so there is always constant motivation, stress, and you will be always in the focus.
Okay.
So if you like to take up that kind of opportunity challenge, and if you want to constantly be engaged in career progression from a knowledge point of view, from meeting different people and making good uh, personal level connections between your stakeholders, that is internal as well as the external stakeholders. All
Yeah.
these things may make a very important part in a purchase manager's day-to-day life. So if you
Okay.
are willing to take up all of these things, I would surely recommend this as a career.
Yeah. Great, great. So from your point of view, this career has a very good growth in the future, and the skill set or the requirements you mentioned are something which everyone should look up to, and if he or she is ready to take up those challenges, so I think it's a good field to get into, and the growth is tremendous, provided you are
Yeah, the growth,
keeping yourself.
yeah, the growth part with a lot of MNCs considering India as China plus one. you see a lot of influx of multinational companies coming into India, and also the lot of companies setting up their operational efficiency and purchase functions centralized in India,
Yes.
fulfilling the demand to various geographies. These are the kind of trends that are emerging in India.
Yes.
So, for a person from a career opportunities point of view, there are multiple career opportunities. At the same time, there are kind of requirements that is the that's a bare minimum expectation. So the technologies keep upgrading at a very fast pace, and you need to always upgrade to be in line with the industry expectations. That's
Yeah.
the caveat there.
Correct, correct. So I think we have been talking about good part of this profile. Some part of it you mentioned the challenges, sleepless nights.
Mm.
I think that is one
Yeah.
part which we should surely discuss because again for this part everyone feels that the procurement people have a very good life. So I
Uh-huh.
think it's very important to touch that part as well. People
Yeah.
do have a very good life. They are learning, they are
Mm.
growing. But yes, the practically what is happening on the ground is what really matters to a lot of people. So COVID, a very big topic.
Mm.
COVID impacted
Mm.
lots of things. Supply chain became a very big thing in all the companies. Before that, I think lots of companies were not
Mm.
considering supply chain as a very critical function. Now everyone is
Mm.
recognizing supply chain and procurement is a part of supply chain. So it played a very big role. अगर आपको कुछ इंस्टेंसेस शेयर करने हों
Mm.
कोविड पीरियड से रिलेटेड जो एक्चुअल
Mm.
पिक्चर शो करता है कि प्रिक्योरमेंट प्रोफेशनल किस फेज से निकलता है तो कुछ एग्जांपल
Okay.
आप शेयर कर सकते हैं जिससे थोड़ा आइडिया लगे कि क्या क्या टाइप के चैलेंजेस देखने पड़ते हैं प्रिक्योरमेंट प्रोफेशनल को और क्या हुआ कोविड के बाद सो इट कैन गिव अ वेरी गुड कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द प्रोफाइल एज वेल या
Okay. So, speaking regarding the challenges that most of the industries face, uh, one was the lack of smooth flow of information. So,
ओके
when you're daily operating in an environment, you're daily going to office. So, a lot of information like the transit status,
ओके
okay, transit
ट्रांसलेटेबल
status,
गुड्स यू आर सेइंग
transit details of the goods,
ओके
financial flow, all these things. You speak to a lot of people, connect to a lot of people, and you get that information. Okay. Now in COVID, one of the major roadblock was only few industries or industries essential goods as classified by the government were operating.
ओके
So a lot of information or a lot of information was missing, and completely, you cannot say it was completely blank. You were left in the gray area. So your supplier doesn't know where the goods is. You
ओके
don't know where the goods is. Your supplier doesn't know where the BL is. You don't know where the BL is. Like, you cannot ask your finance guy to pick up the BL. So these are the kind of funny challenges at that point of time. But now a lot of things have streamlined to a larger extent. But in the first wave, it, it was ultimate chaos.
Yeah.
A lot of goods coming in, and then a lot of shipping companies charging a lot of detention because it was no fault of theirs, but they were not getting the containers free, and as per the
Okay. Okay.
container arrangements. Yeah. And
Okay.
then where would you empty these kind of goods that are in lockdown? That was another
Okay.
classic challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And once everything got over, a lot of goods perished because the shelf life was over.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So the purchase guy who was thinking, okay, I have a lot of material now at the end of COVID because no one has consumed material and all my inventory has arrived. All of a sudden, sees, oh, all this material has expired and it cannot be used. I have to run around for the
Yes.
material. And when such kind of things happen, unfortunately, the supplier would have sold all his goods and all the material would have expired.
Correct. Correct.
And supplier will have a chaotic experience at his end when all the customers keep calling, "Arey, the goods have all expired. Now I need new material immediately. Bomb out." He says, "Sir, 40% of my workforce is allowed to operate. I can only operate at 40% operating efficiency." So I
Correct.
can
Correct.
So all
Correct.
these things, were like the funny challenges that were there.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think
I can also totally relate to it. We all have been through that phase, and I think all the procurement professional or even supply chain people will relate to it. So just for the information for the audience, so when Sham mentioned about BL is bill of lading. It's one of the documents which we need for clearance purposes when we import something to India. And when he mentioned about detention, basically it's a charge which we pay to the authorities if we are storing some material beyond a certain allowed timeline at a port anywhere in India. Uh, I think this is one of the common things or issues which happen across the industry. But apart from that, like in daily day-to-day life, what was what was your biggest challenge being a procurement professional? It could be your personal stuff, personal thing also impacting your personal life or impacting your professional life, or like you were constantly
so.
wondering about it, something on those lines. Yeah.
So one thing what had happened was during the first wave, I lost my job, and during second wave, I was working in a company that grew by 40%.
Okay.
Imagine a company growing by 40%, and you without any that happened because it was an agriculture-based product manufacturer. Though the demand though for other goods kept on the downside, but people were still in the houses. In fact, they started eating more, and there was a lot of demand for agriculture-based products. So that pent up the demand. Since the other emerging economy, I'd say the other economies were under complete lockdown, that market was also open for us, and we were fulfilling the entire markets or trying to fulfill the entire market's potential. So that gave us a good growth opportunity, and that kind of a scale up was I never experienced such a big jump in the demand. So you do a plan at a base level, and you factor in some kind of standard deviation. That's the regular way of planning. So this what do you say, standard deviation was what do you say, gone out of the picture
Okay.
there. So
Okay.
you don't know what was the demand. So whatever came, you just juggled around the marriage. So that period between the second wave, so in India, it was almost like 6 to 7 month period where we were, having a lot of supply chain challenges. The demand was very robust. All the pent up demand of the first wave just came in, and then there was a good growth which the companies should not miss, and the companies wanted to capture, and that provided good challenges to us, learning to us, and it actually checked the, what do you say, the elasticity limit of the purchase function.
Yeah.
So how much you can respond, how quickly you can respond. Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
I would say I was in a very good team. A lot of flexibility was offered by a lot of my colleagues as well. The technology, quality, function. Without all that support, it is imports clearance, logistics.
Yeah.
So all these people, did perform exceptionally well, and though we place the purchase orders, and we get a lot of credit because of the team effort from all these stakeholders. We were able to manage the show. Unless it is not never that one way.
Yeah. Correct. It's a joint effort always. Like that's
Mm.
why stakeholder management and working with the teams is play a
Mm.
very critical role for any procurement professional or procurement function as a whole. And I think whatever you have mentioned is somewhere leading to why people have sleepless nights sometimes, not all the times,
Huh?
when
Yeah.
you don't have anything in your hand and you still have to make sure that the plants are running, operations are running. You have to keep everything in at the top for your organization, and I think that's what leads to sleepless nights. in some cases. Okay, so I'll come to
Yeah.
the last segment of this discussion very quickly. According to you, I'm sure now you are handling a very big team, very big portfolio.
Mm,
These days, the
mm,
talent, getting a talent is very difficult. मतलब लोगों के पास skills, either they don't have the skills, they are available, or the people
mm,
who have the skills, they are not available. For you as a leader
mm,
or a team leader, like how difficult it is to find the people, and अगर किसी को prepare करना है इस profession
mm,
के लिए, maybe fresher or someone who is already in the industry but उनको skill enhance करने हैं और prepare करके अच्छी organization में shift होना है, what are the key things to take care and क्या करना चाहिए और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, especially to become a procurement professional, prepare for an interview, and what resources they can use to do that.
mm.
Yeah.
Firstly, I don't think there is a skill shortage in India.
Okay.
Because for every job, there are multiple people applying. Only thing is, the candidate who's applying needs to, do some basic research and understand the reg- fit for that job that is applying for.
Okay.
So it is good that you have started this kind of channel. So some of the colleagues who I worked with in the past had a wrong assumption of purchase as a
Okay.
function. So they thought, okay, there it's only about strategic sourcing. It
Okay.
is so when the company's job description is put up, uh, the job description plays a very important role there. So companies tend to glorify the strategic purchase part and then hire a lot of talented people, but needing to execute a lot of operational issues.
Okay.
So that it is fine once in a while. People do embrace that as a challenge, but if you put a guy who in thought his job is for strategic sourcing and development of strategies,
Okay.
to constantly handle operational issues, there becomes a gap in expectation versus what is actual, and there
Okay.
becomes that problem, and that does not work. In the same time, because they are doing a lot of operations and that doesn't necessarily require a lot of what do you say strategic thinking, and you hire people who are only operational efficient and not having a strategic outlook is also detrimental, because
Okay.
ultimately people want to progress from progress to get enhance themselves and want to move better and better things. So operational efficiency in the next logical transition would be strategically making your category better and taking strategic calls. So you can operationally improve also by planning well and
Okay.
planning with a scenario well. So from a candidate's point of view, you should assess whether he is right now looking for an operational kind of a domain
Okay.
and then gradually grow into strategy, or you come in directly as a strategic thinking.
Okay.
But most hiring managers and from my experience, the HR picks up directly the candidates from top B schools into strategic functions without them knowing operational
Okay.
challenges. That's one of the things that is
Okay.
noticed. That's the trend that is being noticed.
Okay.
Mm. So we have a very gradual growth process. So we gradually bring in people from the operations with a little bit of strategic knowledge to
Okay.
gradually transit in the so that they are gradually growing in the role.
Okay. Okay. So for procurement, like what you beautifully explained about the strategic sourcing or the strategy part of it, and then the operational part of it. Like for any candidate, uh, does it matter for a fresher or a person who is already working in the field? Like I know that they have to think about this. Where do they want to go? But apart from that, in terms of skill set, like learning new skills, is there any
Mm.
specific which they should do to understand more about the procurement, like case studies or talking to people or seeing such podcast or something, like if you can add on that part, which can help them to become to be prepared for such challenges and or interviews when if they are appearing for that.
So, when a candidate is looking into getting into strategic purchase, so there is a little bit of difficulty for even for the candidate and for the hiring manager, because if he's from the same industry and if he's already executed different strategy, then the thought process or the challenges that is faced will be more in line with what he's going to preach. But sometimes the strategy so strategic purchasing managers have a little bit of industrial experience but want to join directly into that kind of a role because of their qualification and with all due respect to the qualification, but industrial challenges are a different thing altogether. You might have
Yeah,
done hundreds of case studies, but
yeah,
in real life execution, uh, things become challenging because when you are sitting across the table and you are trying to derive the best for your organization, and the same person is the opposite side of you is also trying to do the same thing, and also you are deriving by a market where there are a lot of challenges that are put forward. There is a
yes,
um, so even though the stakeholders are willing to help you, but the market in itself is short. So all these things needs a little bit of experience,
yeah,
and for me personally, that becomes a little bit of a challenge. If you are within the industry and if you want to upgrade yourself in the same function for strategic sourcing, well and good. But if you're trying to explore, for me personally, I was in an automobile tire industry background. I joined oil and gas because as a category manager, though the principles or the most of the things that you intend to do are the same, but
yeah,
the challenges are quite different. So, and once you join at a strategic function level, your clock starts ticking immediately. You need to start you know, putting your thoughts together, driving value. Because an operational guy, if he doesn't even think, he will have a lot of things to do with.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you're a strategic guy, and if you don't have you don't have your output is not measured by something, you need to give him ideas, and your ideas have to be quality ideas for you to be presented in front of the management, and also those ideas has to work in real time basis. So it becomes a challenge there.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay, so
yeah.
yeah.
So in summary, like if you combine both the sides, what you mentioned, the operational side and strategic side, so what type of
So,
skills are like the most critical skills, non-negotiable for any person who want to get into this area?
some of the tools that are non-negotiable is definitely Microsoft Excel.
Okay, okay,
He has to know basic Excel tools. I mean, data analytics is now a big thing within the industry.
okay,
Deriving raw data and trying to I mean, make meaningful conclusions, or at least bringing up ideas or food for thoughts from that data is expected from any individual.
so
Just
this is on the
presenting the
IT
data.
part. This is on the software skill side. Software
Yeah,
skill.
even from the strategic thinking, you see
Okay,
the data, you have to give ideas as to management as to what are the areas that we can work. So
okay,
though you're seeing as a numbers point, you
yeah,
also have to think from a strategic point as well.
okay,
So
okay,
I'm speaking in cohesion between both sorry, operations as well as strategy.
okay, okay,
So you need to analyze data and at least bring in some amount of meaningful interpretations in
okay,
that.
okay.
Okay. So you need to definitely manage the stakeholders very well. Yeah,
Yes.
so you have a lot of challenges because some functions will define logistics separately, and some functions you will be an interface between finance, sales,
Correct.
and logistics. At least three departments
Yes.
and production planning.
Yes.
So all these are internal stakeholders, and similarly you have external stakeholders. So having a positive approach towards that handling the day-to-day issues is very important. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
mostly you need to um, think with a lot of clarity with the situation and the challenges that is available
Okay. Okay.
in a pressurized environment. So you
Okay.
need to have a lot of calmness in your
Yeah, sure.
way you go about things,
Yes.
because practicality there is a challenge there,
Yes.
and ultimately you have a objective that needs to be fulfilled, and most of the times it gets a little bit heated, so at that time your tempers will rise. So
Yeah.
having a cool head in that kind of a thing is also desirable.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and apart from this, one should always be uh, constantly updating what are the new
Okay.
emerging trends that are there,
New learnings. Yeah.
or new learning that is important, and having a positive outlook is the most important thing. Right
Yes. Yes.
attitude.
Correct. 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 Great. Great. So I think you have primarily covered the critical skills from the operational side, data-driven approach, analytical
Mm.
mindset, aptitude, and then of course the stakeholder management, uh, calm attitude, how to work under pressure. I would say then a learning attitude, like to keep learning what is happening globally, everything. So well covered. And I think this was the last segment.
And no one is perfect when you're interviewed. Okay, everyone will prepare for the interview. The real challenge starts afterwards.
Yes,
So
yes.
even the hiring manager knows it. But at least a guy who's prepared for the interview will also be prepared for the job is the expectation.
Yes, yes, sure, sure. I think most of the people will relate to this. Great. And
Yeah,
nice. So thank you, Sham. Thanks for giving your time on a holiday, especially,
yeah.
and thanks for sharing your inputs. I think this will become a very valuable video for lots of viewers. We'll be in touch. I'll be very happy to learn more from you. We worked together in the past as well, and I have really learned a lot from you. Thanks a lot. Keep sharing your important aspects and important learning key points with people around you. And see you soon. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Maninder. Thank you, Maninder. Wish you good luck with this endeavor, and hopefully your no efforts to improve the procurement talent pool
Yeah.
in the country, and also setting the expectations for the people aspiring to become future procurement managers are in sync with what the hiring managers are thought process are there. So so your idea is to bridge that gap, and I wish
Correct.
good luck in that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sham, and
Thank you. Thank
have a good day. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
you.